For most of us, freedom is an idea and not an actuality. When we talk about freedom, we want to be free outwardly, to do what we like, to travel, to be free to express ourselves in different ways, free to think what we like. The outward expression of freedom seems to be very important, especially in countries where there is tyranny, dictatorship, and in those countries where outward freedom is possible, one seeks more and more pleasure, more and more possessions. Unless the human mind is inwardly, psychologically totally free, it is not possible to see what is true, to see if there is a reality not invented by fear, not shaped by the society or the culture in which we live, and which is not an escape from the daily monotony with its boredom, loneliness, despair, and anxiety. To find out if there is actually such freedom, one must be aware of one's own conditioning, of the problems, of the monotonous shallowness, emptiness, insufficiency of one's daily life. And above all, one must be aware of fear. One must be aware of oneself as one is, and see if it is at all possible to be entirely free of all those issues that seem to clog the mind. To look deeply, there needs to be not only freedom, but the discipline that is necessary to observe. Freedom and discipline go together. We are using the word discipline not in the accepted traditional sense, which is to conform, imitate, suppress, follow a set pattern, but rather as the root meaning of that word, which is to learn. Learning and freedom go together, freedom bringing its own discipline, not a discipline imposed by the mind in order to achieve a certain result. These two things are essential, freedom and the act of learning. One cannot learn about oneself unless one is free. Free so that one can observe, not according to any pattern, formula, or concept, but actually observe oneself as one is. That observation, that perception, that seeing brings about its own discipline and learning. In that there is no conforming, imitation, suppression, or control whatsoever. In that there is great beauty. The beauty of freedom is that you do not leave a mark. The eagle, in its flight, does not leave a mark. The scientist does. Inquiring into this question of freedom, there must be not only the scientific observation, but also the flight of the eagle that does not leave a mark at all. Both are required. There must be both the verbal explanation and the non-verbal perception, for the description is never the actuality that is described. The explanation is obviously never the thing that is explained. The word is never the thing. Is there any difference between correct thought and correct action? When you use that word correct, you have already an idea of what is correct. When you have an idea of what is correct, it is incorrect, because that correct is based on your prejudice, on your conditioning, on your fear, on your culture, on your society, on your own particular idiosyncrasies, fears, religious sanctions, and so on. You have the norm, the pattern. That very pattern is in itself incorrect, is immoral. Do you agree to that? If you do, then you have rejected social morality, which means greed, envy, ambition, nationality, the worship of class, and all the rest of it. Social morality is immoral. To be really moral, virtuous, is one of the most extraordinary things in life, and that morality has nothing whatsoever to do with social environmental behavior. One must be free to be really virtuous, and you are not free if you follow the social morality of greed, envy, competition, worship of success. Live. Live in this world. This world is so beautiful. It is our world, our earth to live upon. But we do not live. We are narrow. We are separate. We are anxious. We are frightened human beings. And therefore we do not live. We have no relationship. We are isolated, despairing human beings. We do not know what it means to live in that ecstatic, blissful sense. One can live that way only when one knows how to be free from all the stupidities of one's life. To be free from them is only possible in becoming aware of one's relationship, not only with human beings, but with ideas, with nature, with everything. In that relationship, one discovers what one is, one's fear, anxiety, despair, loneliness, one's utter lack of love. One is full of theories, words, knowledge of what other people have said. One knows nothing about oneself, and therefore one does not know how to live.